Hi, and welcome to Global One Media. Joining me today is Kris Knauer, the CEO and Managing Director of Challenger Exploration, an exploration company with several promising projects in Latin America. Challenger Exploration is currently listed on the Australian Stock Exchange. Hello, Kris. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks, and thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So your Hualilan project in Argentina has currently a resource estimate of 2.1 million ounces of gold. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. I mean, that was just the first resource estimate. We're really only just getting started. That resource estimate was based on 125,000 meters of drilling, and as of this morning, we finished about 206,000 meters of drilling. So expect a sort of fairly significant uplift to that resource around the end of this year.
And could you tell us a bit more about the economics of the project and how you've been able to maintain cost efficiency?
Yeah, look, so in terms of economics, the stage we're at, it's advanced exploration. We've just put out our first resource. We'll do a PEA, or preliminary economic assessment, starting now, basically, which should be out first half next year. Internally, we've wrapped some numbers around what does it look like. And, it will be a very long life, very low cost producer, particularly in the first 4 or 5 years. It'll be virtually a few $100s an ounce cash costs. So, very economic project. And then in terms of, how can we sort of, I suppose, do it in a cost-effective manner, the project lends itself to a stage startup. So there's quite a few big pods of high-grade ore near surface. So what we'll do is we'll have a little plant so it doesn't cost much initially. It'll treat the high-grade ore, and then out of cash flow, in year 2 or 3, we'll then expand the plant to treat the lower-grade ore, maintain gold production, similar costs. But basically, the project just lends itself to, a low sort of capital expenditure startup. So, for a company like us, eminently doable to get into production without, blowing the bank balance.
That's very good. And your exploration properties contain several types of minerals, such as gold, silver, and copper. What markets are you aiming to cater to? And have you received any interest from potential customers?
Look, yes. I mean, in terms of the mix, it's around about 85% gold, 10% zinc, a little bit of lead and silver. The way we sell that is we don't actually refine metal on site. That would take a project that is a $100 million capital expenditure and turn it into something that's a $500 million capital expenditure. So we sell high-grade concentrate, which contains, gold, silver, lead, and zinc in it. And as part of our, I suppose, pre-economic work, because you don't want to spend $40 million drilling it out unless you know you can produce it, we've spoken to most of the big refiners, concentrate off-takers, and yes, there's been a lot of interest. I mean, the concentrate we produce in Argentina, it's pretty special because it's got probably the lowest arsenic content in the world. The content of arsenic in a gold concentrate, really important. You get above 10%, you simply can't sell it. And the fact that we've got none means there's a lot of interest, because someone can take our gold concentrate, blend it with another concentrate they can't actually sell to recover the gold, and all of a sudden you've got a concentrate that you can actually sell both concentrates. So there's been quite a lot of interest from big trading houses, most of the smelters, all of the off-takers are particularly interested in what we'll produce.
That's very good. And how do you reduce the environmental and social impact of your projects?
I suppose first, in terms of social license, in Argentina, and we've done the same thing in Ecuador. When we first got there, we bought a sort of semi-trailer. We refurbed it, put medical facilities in it, donated that to the local government to use for offering medical tests to disadvantaged families. We run a program where all of the San Juan University geology and mining engineering students spend a month working for us as part of their course. We pay them for that. We basically have started up or fostered a startup of 3 or 4 businesses supplying us core boxes, meals, laundry, accommodation in Argentina. We've done something similar in Ecuador, where we started up 3 businesses During COVID, we kept the sort of 100 neediest families in our immediate area alive with weekly food packs. We work with the Women's Association and the local church on that. Ecuador, we basically spent almost $1 million building a water plant. When we got there, there was a massive environmental problem. The water coming out of the old mine adits was basically the same color as blood and highly toxic. As part of sort of becoming a part of the local community, we spent a lot of money cleaning that up. So now our final tank before that water is discharged is full of native fish. So that's sort of, I suppose, how we've got that social and also environmental license as well to operate. Really, you've just got to do the right thing.
I think that really helps. And as you well know, talent plays a key role in the success of mining projects. How do you ensure that you're hiring and retaining the best people?
Yeah, look, I suppose with both, when we first started, I hired a couple of geologists in Argentina and Ecuador that I'd worked with before, and I wouldn't have hired them unless they were good people. When we were initially looking for staff, do you have any friends? Like-minded people, I suppose, attract like-minded people. Part of the program now we've got with the San Juan School of Mines, where all of their students rotate through our operations. We get to pick the best from every year and we offer them jobs, and that's where most of our team have actually come from. So, you have 100 students rotate through every year and you pick the best 3, then you're generally getting good people. And, look, I do agree with you. I mean, basically it's your team, your staff that are your most important asset.
Okay. And what forward guidance can you give to investors at this stage?
Look, in terms of guidance, so where we are at the moment in Argentina, 2 million ounces based on 125,000 metres of drilling. By the time we put out an upgraded resource, it will be 40% more drilling. So 2 million ounces based off 60%, hopefully 3 million ounces based off 100% of the drilling. And, we've just committed to another 60,000 metres on top of that because the project's still open and getting larger. You'll get a PEA, or preliminary economic assessment, which is quite important for the market. It shows how the mine will work and wraps numbers around it first half next year. That'll be pretty robust. That will show that the mine is very profitable. Then really we'll move into a bankable feasibility study, and by late 2025, early 2026, we'll be in production in Argentina. In Ecuador, sort of forward milestones are first resource, first quarter next year. And then depending on what that looks like, we know that resource will be large. It's just a matter of how economic is it, because Ecuador will be a lower grade bulk gold project. Then we'll commit to a lot more drilling. We're 5 kilometres along strike from a 20 million ounce ore body, and we think we've got the other half of that in Ecuador. But really for us, key focus Argentina, get into production. 200,000 ounces a year at a sub $1,000 an ounce cash cost produces a lot of cash flow, which then lets us do everything we need to do on our other projects.
Sounds really encouraging. Kris, thank you very much for all the information and for your time today. We look forward to seeing you again and hearing the next updates from Challenger Exploration.
Thank you very much. And again, thanks for having me on your show.